Hello, Gloucester Township. Welcome to the Restore GT podcast. Still the number one podcast.
It is still number one. We just checked the ratings and confirmed it before we said
Gloucester
that.
Township. I'm Joe Allen.
I'm Keith Gibbons.
This is Gracie. Got some ears back here.
Yeah.
And today is, what are we at, June 17th?
I'm not sure.
It's Saturday.
Yeah. We're recording a recap of the last 2 weeks, I guess, or so, of Gloucester Township.
Yeah, June 12th.
June 12th. A council meeting, some Gloucester Township days,
elections,
a lot of stuff.
A lot has happened since the last meeting. First Gloucester Township Day was my, that's my first Gloucester Township Day. I don't know. Have you been to them before?
I've been to it before, yes. I was not at this Gloucester Township Day. I had something else going on that I was not able to attend.
Yeah, I was able to attend. Had a little stand up there with the rest of the folks that
meeting and greeting people, shaking hands.
Yeah, meeting and greet,
right.
Shaking hands, all that stuff. It was a good turnout, man. It was I really enjoyed talking to the folks there. A lot of people now, really cool, because we had a little, it was a campaign layout, so we had some little handouts and funny seeing people come up and they wanted they knew information ahead of time when we're looking at the tax steps, and they were like, I know that because I watch this podcast. And
watch it, the number one podcast out there.
They didn't know who I was,
right?
I was like, oh, you like the podcast? They're like, yeah. Hey, can we get an autograph? Yeah, and they're like, what are you doing, dude? No, Gibbons.
Yeah,
we want Gibbons. You got Gibbons autograph? Can we get some signed Gibbons cards?
I tell you that all the time, and I don't think you believe. Like, people go up to me like in the grocery store, like, "Hey, you're that guy."
Yeah, nobody.
It happened the other night. We were at Skeeter's. There's a whole group of people, and a guy came up and it's like, "Excuse me," pushed Joe out of the way. And comes over, and it's like, "Hey, man," and goes to shake my hand. Joe's like, "What the hell?" He literally just pushed me out of the way to go shake your hand. He goes, I can't even believe that. That was funny.
That was great. So, you know who else is a fan?
Who's that?
It just reminded me. Dan Hutchison.
Oh.
He's a big fan. He's a big fan. He told me, he says, hey, shook my hand and introduced himself and said, hey, you do that podcast with Gibbons. I said, I do. And he said, I like that Gibbons guy. He's a good guy, that Gibbons guy. I like that Gibbons guy. And my take on that was,
he doesn't like you.
He really doesn't like that Allen guy at all. So,
oh man,
got to meet. I got to meet our mayor, which I've never met the mayor before.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, came over, shook hands. Met Dan, met Moriarty, who's also running with Dan.
Well, I mean, when you meet those people too, you realize they're just another human being like us that have put their pants on two legs or one leg at a time kind of thing.
It's a weird thing too, because you spend a lot of time criticizing them.
Yep.
And you meet them in a setting like that. You shake their hand and you're like, man, I wish you did things a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could just be, I don't know. It's so weird. It's so weird when you run against somebody too, because you just. It's like almost like
there's a built-in friction there.
Like they have to be
tension of some sort.
I bet the other new guy on the ballot, Jim Nash. I've run into him twice, and that's kind of the same thing too. It's like nice guy, nice guy. Got to run against him, and it's just. It's
look at that! It brings you together, even though you thought it separated you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird when you meet those folks out, and you got to run against them. But
yeah, that's why I think it's better to work together, on things than to get into that heated stuff. Like there was a lot of heated debates, even within the same party of the Republicans. I saw a million different ads of running against this one and that one, and. Yeah. That goes into your primary thing you want to talk about later.
Hopefully.
It was overwhelming amount of we all have good intentions to go run again, and fix something the way we see fit. And maybe we can get the support to do it, maybe we can't, but it gets nasty out there in that political world, and
it does when you start attacking people on their family and their personalities and stuff like that, rather than just, hey, I can do this for the township or the state. versus what I feel like they're not doing. When you start getting it personal,
Yeah.
it really takes things down, and I don't.
Well, I mean, I was mentioning on the Republican side, the Democrat side too. Don't forget they also had Sam Sweet. They were trying to rip apart with
The memes again.
releasing videos that probably shouldn't have been released, and so it's on both sides. There's just fighting all the time about power is basically what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, I don't know, it's dirty, and you hate to think. When you're shaking somebody's hand, you think, maybe just on a personal level, we can, I don't know, try to fix things. I mean, they're not going to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to run. You go sit up there. But you just hope. I don't know. You just hope that they say, you know what? That guy's got a message, and he's got something that's important to him, and there's voters behind him too. Maybe I'll think about those people. No matter who wins. It's just, But you mentioned the primaries.
Yeah.
And the Republican, I think the Democrats were unopposed in
for most of the seats, right? There was the commissioner or not? Yeah. What did Sam run for? Because there was a
Sam ran for county commissioner, but LD4, the Senate and Assembly, they were unopposed on the Dem side.
Yeah, the commissioner position is more of it's a county position.
That's county,
so
yeah.
That's on the ballot in every area. We're just voting on Gloucester Township and whatever other, like the county or what's it called? LD districts,
legislative districts.
So those are on our ballot. So they might have been running unopposed here, but in other towns, like where Kate Delaney was also. Well, no, she was commissioner. She was
county
too.
also, yeah.
But if there were. I'm out.
But
I'm mush mouth today. I can't.
Well, yeah. I mean, for example, for LD4, the Republicans that were running, they were running. They were the same people on the ballot in Washington Township and in a lot of other townships,
right?
Because it kind of covers this whole area.
Right.
Now that was a nasty race. That was we had 3 people, 3 Republicans, and then 3 more Republicans. And rather than doing kind of I guess they called it the Ronald Reagan way of doing things, where you didn't talk bad about the other person. You kind of talked bad. You kind of just said what you were going to do, and how you thought you could do it better than. This one went dirty. They went dirty. We had people at Gloucester Township Day coming up and saying, "I don't know who to vote for. They all seem terrible now." And that's
right.
And that's the downside. No, that's the downside of it. People start seeing this stuff coming in, and then a lot of times they look at it just long enough to throw it in the garbage. And as they're throwing it in the garbage, they go, "Yeah, they're dirty." And now, so what you get is, I think you get a lower voter turnout because of it. And it's well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at how Gloucester Township Day.
Well,
Gloucester Township voting went.
I'm not a political science or political anything, but I feel like you don't get people fired up to go out and vote because they don't like somebody. You get them fired up because they do like somebody, right? I mean, wouldn't you? I don't know. Am I wrong in that assumption? So, like, to your point of the lower voter turnout, when you have all that mud being slung all over the place, they have no incentive to go out and vote. When you said they don't even know who the right person is. You didn't tell me why I should vote for you. You just told me not to vote for that person. So you know what? I'm not voting for either of you because I'm tired of seeing all this.
Well, yeah, in our campaign, several of the guys had mentioned people reached out and said, "Look, I'm just not showing up for this primary."
Yeah.
They've all seemed terrible.
Your dog tangled me up in wires under here so bad. I don't know how.
That's just got my earphones on.
Circulation in my foot.
But they all said, a lot of people said, "Look, I'm just not coming out for the primary.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, I'll vote for them in November." But they all seem terrible.
Did it show in the numbers? Did you look at the numbers?
Yeah, we can look at the numbers.
Okay, let's pull them up.
To summarize how Gloucester Township did.
You failed. 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 You.
And you fail.
Listen, let me say something to you as a friend. You suck.
Yeah, we were bad. We were really bad at voting in this one. So
are we ever good at it here?
Man,
there's so many people in Gloucester Township, and the numbers are just not there ever.
No, it was. So if we take a look, it was pretty bad. So Gloucester Township Council, Mercado, Mignon, Walters, and Nash. They got about 3,200 votes.
So now, just to describe, these people were not running against anyone. This is literally just if you're a registered Democrat, then you have the ability to vote just for Democrats, and this is where that race landed. So these people here, there's not a Republican or independent person allowed to even put a thing in. So this is just Democrats that showed up and voted for unopposed running people. Yeah.
So in the Democrat side, about 3,200 votes.
Okay.
On the
how many registered voters do they have? Do you know?
It used to be. It was about 20,000 Democrats.
Okay.
So, and on the Republican side, we had
seven people showed up.
No, for it's breaking it down now. They must have updated.
You're getting me dizzy.
I know.
How many districts do we have? 40 districts, right?
40 districts, and we had. There's a
Good
lot.
thing we had this ready to go for you folks. Sorry about that.
I had this thing up. So 3, 2, 1, and 0.
What the? Is that it?
Nah, that's not it. So on the Democrat
just
side,
tell me what movie you'd like to hear.
on the Democrat side, we had 3,200 people. On the Republican side, the top vote getter was Joe D'Amico at 1,500. I believe it was 1,500, and then
okay, so a little bit less than half of what the Democrats had out there. And how many registered Republicans?
Republicans, I think, are about here. It is so
okay.
1,516 for Joe D'Amico, and then the rest are a little bit behind that. So, and about 10,000 Republicans in Gloucester Township. So about half.
So about the same turnout on either party.
Yeah,
roughly, right?
About what 4,700 total voters.
Okay. Either way, so yeah.
Out of about 30,000, about 30,000 that can vote in the primaries. Mm-hmm. So, really failed.
Right. Well, if it's 20 Democrat, 10 Republican, thousands we're talking, right? And then on the actual votes, we got what did you say it was 3,200-ish or so?
3,200 and then 1,500.
So it's about half of what they got, and about half of the registered voters. So roughly the same kind of turnout.
Yeah, I don't know what we do to. I don't know what the township has to do to get that to change, because it's.
Somebody needs to give them hope, a message.
Somebody's got to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you know what I think?
This team coming up, running against them.
What I don't get here, right? There's 4 of us here, and the same with the.
You want to switch a camera?
The same with.
Are you still keeping that up?
Well, I'm still keeping it up here.
Okay.
You got Joe D'Amico at 1,516, me at 1,491, Ray at 1,485, Tim at 1,482. What I don't get is why do people vote different? Why wouldn't it be 1,516 all the way down? I don't think that people know. What they're supposed to do.
I don't necessarily vote every single person that's in a column, and that's not. I don't think uncommon. I think it's probably more common that people do an entire column, than not.
Because it says vote for 4, but I never.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you don't have to vote for 4.
I gotta find those people now.
Huh?
I gotta find those people. What don't you like about me? What did you like about Joe that you didn't like about me?
What did you think about Joe?
Yeah.
I saw him on the Jersey Shore. Isn't he the guy that was... He was on that MTV show.
But, yeah, and then Ray and Tim, they got to find more people.
Yeah?
What happened?
Don't know.
But, yeah, so, I don't know, man. Hopefully we can figure out how to fix that by November. It's not going to be, you've got no governor, no president. So it's going to be a low turnout election.
Yeah.
Unless we can really get some people energized. So, I don't know.
I don't know how to do that.
I don't. Really what I want, I want to win. But, on November 8th, when we're going back and we're looking through the results from the day before, if 50,000 people voted.
That's never going to happen.
And I lost, I'm still going to be happy. I'm going to be happy because the people finally spoke. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
40,000 even. We got 20,000 2 years ago. So.
Well, there's been a lot of conversations, I'm sure, that have happened of how do you get more people out there. Have you heard any great ideas that have been out there? Like,
no.
People saying, that's the thing, is what do people run on? Like, taxes. Every person's going to run on taxes. Right now, who is it? Hutch and Moriarty? Is that who's running together? They have a flyer I got with, we're going to cut senior taxes.
Yeah.
You're not. Okay, then let's use a Dan quote then. Like, so what are you going to cut to pay for that?
Yeah.
Like, what is it you're going to cut? His famous lines all the time of asking, like, really hit your lower taxes? What are you going to cut? Okay, you have to,
Maybe
so
they're
it's
not
just
allow seniors at the parks anymore. That's what it is.
But it's just I don't know. The messaging gets old of the same stuff, and people need something to get them fired up. I don't know what that is, but
it does, and we're not making huge decisions at this level, but we are making we're making decisions that affect you. They affect you more directly.
Yeah, on the roads that you drive, on the parks and programs that are in place, the taxes that you're paying to
whether
be
they're going to dump a warehouse,
the schools that
you're it's all stuff like that.
Right.
That was a big topic today when I was out, where people were talking about warehouses around here.
Again?
Yeah, it was just just guys just hanging out, the guys that were from the township, and they were talking about warehouses, and they weren't up to date on what the story was and where they are, and they were still worried about it because they don't keep up.
Well, see, that's a delay in information getting out to people. Like they're probably just hearing about something that we're aware of from 9 months ago or something. And that's where this whole podcast helps in getting people, in at least informed of things that are that are going on. Not that we're the best entertainers in the world, but we're able to at least put it in a little bit more human format than
the people at
very
GT Day
restricted.
were pretty good.
Yeah.
People at GT Day. So,
but with that, we're actually running a contest too. That will
there will be a contest. There will be a contest coming out. There's going to be I think we're going to put a page on Gloucester or Restore GT about the contest. We're going to
try and get more people to subscribe and watch, and even if they watch it for 5-10 minutes, and maybe they get a little bit more informed about what's going on in town. That there's not a delay of 9 months of somebody knowing a warehouse happened when you needed to be there on time in order to stop the warehouse, show that you're against this, and when no one shows up, there's nothing any of us can say because you didn't show up to exercise your rights and voice your opinion, and that's what we're trying to get people to do is just get involved and know what's going on, be more up to date.
Yeah, it's funny when guys were talking about it, and it was kind of, they were talking about it as if it was kind of a done deal, and it was like, there's nothing you can do. They're going to put a warehouse in. It's going to suck. Traffic's going to be terrible. And it was like, wait, people did stuff. People made a lot of noise.
Right.
And things happen. And then, the township likes to celebrate when they do something nice.
Oh, yeah.
They show up for photos and stuff like that. The township kind of failed at this part, too, because they did the right thing, and they made some changes so to stop these things from coming in, and then they stopped the golf course one because there were changes that need to be made for that to happen. And the township, no, we're not making those changes.
Right.
So they should have. The mayor should have went to the old band and golf course and took some pictures on there.
Yeah.
just to celebrate the
his
fact that he
schedule
did
was
that.
probably pretty busy. We can actually show you. He did show up recently for a photo op, which was at the recent council meeting, which we could probably get into. Now we've wasted I don't know how much time talking about other stuff, but yeah, we actually got a clip. Like, you know how people say that he shows up and he just disappears? We got it on tape. It's on tape. Him leaving the building. So he doesn't just poof. He actually walks out.
It wasn't quite the exit that I think he did the last time, where he just like he went into a crowd and just never came out.
Right?
He was just gone. He was just completely gone. So
we've caught it though. We've caught it on tape.
We did the Citizens Police Academy. They did their graduation ceremony there, and that's a 10-week course.
Yeah.
If you are, there's a lot of folks there. I guess they were retired, looking for some stuff to do. Our friend Paul Krug went through that before.
Yeah.
It's 10 weeks.
Just kind of informs you, a little bit about everything that the police are involved in, what they do, why they do it, kind of thing.
Yep.
So that then you can help, not you, but if you went through the program, you can help, debunk some people's like, oh, well, the cops did, such and such. Like, well, no, really the reason is, so that's kind of what it was explained, through the whole ceremony, that part of what that is that you can help spread information about what the police department does, and just kind of be a partner, I think they call it, of the police department, and volunteering your time. But we have a clip of
they did the ceremony. They handed out the papers, the certificates saying that you graduated from it.
Yeah.
And then there was the photo opportunity, so the mayor was there for that to speak, and then
poof,
he was out.
Good evening. I ask Mayor, join me, and Council President, if you would join me. And I also ask our Community Relations Bureau Commander, Lieutenant Don Gansky, to join me. So we'll just take a few minutes to recognize our graduates. We call them graduates, but these are 25 citizens, community members, who have voluntarily come and taken our Citizens Police Academy.
All right, here he goes, folks. Watch. Here he comes, coming down in the middle of the screen. Shakes a hand, moves around that guy. Watch. Poof.
Oh,
gone.
He's out.
Gone. Not gonna stick around for doing any of the business of the town.
Goes
That's
behind
for other
that
people
door,
to do.
sheds the suit, puts a disguise on, heads right on out.
Yep. But so that was kind of the beginning. What do we call those? Like ceremonies in the beginning? They've been doing them a lot, very often in the beginning of the council meetings. But that was this past meetings, the ceremony, I guess we'll call it. But yeah, then we actually got clarification of the rules of our public portions at our meetings. People have, asked about, why are you limiting our speech, and what's with the, is this you're stopping our freedom of speech and stopping us from doing this or that. So it was pretty funny that a council president, after 18 years, I believe it is now, that he's been on council.
18 years he's been there.
He reviewed the Sunshine Law, which is what open meetings, kind of is governed by. And he's kind of pissed to find out that you actually are allowed to say anything that you want in here. The meeting is there for the purpose of conducting township business. However, you also have the right to say anything at all that you want. Anything. So, without saying it, they basically said, yes, we were violating your First Amendment right by telling you you're not allowed to say certain things at this public meeting. So, they won't say that, but we're going to tell you that's basically what they said.
That's what I was saying.
And we have a solicitor that we pay that also didn't know this. Council all took an oath to uphold our constitutional rights.
Glad that he read. I'm glad that he finally read that stuff.
Right.
That is actually all Sunshine and the Open Public Meetings Act.
Yeah.
Are they're still linked to those on Restore GT. They've been there for 2 or 3 years. It's one of those things where I read it and I'm like, people probably should see this.
Yeah.
So they're all there. That's probably where he found it.
Yeah.
Came across it. He's a big fan too.
But we're also going to adhere to the 5-minute rule that he had in there. And then watch. Go ahead, just play it.
Our second public portion is for 30 minutes. Each speaker is entitled to 5 minutes. What I'm trying to here is make sure that we follow our rules of order. Speaker cannot go up more than 2 times during the public portion. In addition to that, a speaker can speak on any topic matter. Any topic matter. And so what I've done is over the last week, I took a look at the New Jersey Sunshine Law, Open Public Meetings Act, and the purpose of our meeting is to transact the business of the township. And if individuals want to speak about any topic matter, they can during that public portion and public comment. And so we have talked about that we don't talk about politics here in the council chamber doing the business of the township. But if someone wants to speak about it, they can comment on it. But council is not required to respond to that. So if anyone wants to speak about any topic matter, they can, as long as they're not abusive to the people that are up here and the people that are in the audience. So we will now open our first public portion. Anyone that would like to speak on any matter, please raise your hand. Ms. Smithman.
Who he called on to speak was Miss Smithman. When he goes on any topic at all, this because he knows that topic is going to have nothing to do with governmental business.
Well, she wants Braille.
Yeah.
On the street signs.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, what else happened? Well, after we also had a few different people ask about things that were on the agenda for that night when we have the agenda topic, and one of the interesting ones was a lead paint rule that you have to have now your house certified to have no lead paint when you go to sell your house or transfer tenants. Like, so you had somebody move out, somebody else move in, you need to be recertified. So there's a couple of different clips about this here. Basically stated that the state had mandated this, and it's just the township's responsibility to implement that. So, clip 3, I think, here.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidor from the historic village of Ariel.
Good evening.
I just got my agenda, so I didn't have time to find which specific number the resolution was regarding lead paint and various things for inspection before the sale of the house and the property. Ordinance?
Yes.
Okay. What about this is something that we have not addressed in the past?
The state of New Jersey, through the Department of Community Affairs, enacted a new legislation that went into effect in 2021, and it makes certain determinations that all municipalities must adhere to lead-based inspections for rental properties. Anything that was prior to 1979 has to be inspected.
Okay. So what was kind of proposed, I guess, in this ordinance, and I don't know if that's what the ordinance was or just said that it had to be done, but that there's like from what I recall from the conversation, it was like $150 fee. The construction department is the one who's going to go inspect it, and there's a $20 state fee that's with it. So another new tax. Awesome. But one of the things that was brought up by our next clip was, can't somebody go get their own permit? Why do we have to pay the $150? And should we even be taking this on as a municipality? Why not just require it, saying it needs to be done, and putting that onus back onto the homeowner that's going to be...
Yeah, because we already do home inspections.
Right, why? I don't understand why this...
I mean, it should just be a requirement for home inspectors to do that also.
Right.
But then I mean, I guess you don't need to get... I guess you don't have to have a home inspector in every case, but...
Your background's going to help us out right now, correct?
I could help with the home inspection thing, but good evening, Council Joe D'Amico, Autumn Court. In regard to the lead-based testing, is that something that we are doing as part of a CO? Is the township's going to do it, or just going to something that we require as a municipality as part of we are not going to be doing the testing. We're going to require private ownership to fund that. I'm assuming.
It is mandated that the township follows through with this.
But you can follow through and require it, correct?
There will be a fee. There's also an added part that the homeowner or the rental could secure this themselves.
Right. So I guess his point is, why do we need to have the government to handle this? Why can't private? This is a private issue. That why shouldn't a private owner or somebody buying a house deal with it versus getting us involved?
Yeah, and then I guess once the house is certified.
Wait, how many times do you? So when you have a rental, so you're saying you need to recertify? Like, what did we go buy lead-based paint that was in 1962 in a can, and we put it on the wall? Like, oh, whoops, sorry. We now have lead-based paint.
It's right next to the
even
vinyl.
though it didn't exist the last time you certified.
It's next to
it.
vinyl albums. You can just
you
can repaint your house, go retro. So that was just something new that popped up that we thought was kind of odd. Thought we were kind of past lead-based paint a long time ago, but apparently not.
No, people are still eating those paint chips, I guess, and having issues.
What's up next?
We had Pete Heinball was asking about the MUA and a emergency something or other. He had a misunderstanding of what it was. He thought it was an emergency for fixing the sinkhole that happened over on Lower Landing Road, and it was actually just to award a contract to someone if there was an emergency happening. So that was
that's right. This was a weird one.
Peter Heinball, Morningstar Court. My agenda question is related to Resolution 147. That's the emergency sewer repairs. Is this related to the sinkhole in Lower Landing Road? Is that what this repair?
And it involves 3 pump stations. It was already funded for the issuance of the bond ordinance. So they have the money. They need to move forward with the repairs.
You say bond ordinance and they have the money. Who's the they you're referring to?
The money would still be held by the
MUA.
By the MUA at this point.
So they issued a bond. They anticipate. Well, it's an emergency repair. How could they?
I'm told they have the financing already set up. It was fun.
An emergency repair was funded through a bond.
If it's the pump stations, as I'm telling you.
Well, that doesn't sound like an emergency repair. I'm not sure we're talking about the same one here.
We're authorizing to go out to bid. That's yes, this is for an outside company that they have on an annual basis that performs emergency fixes for the pump stations. In fact, I think the contractor that presently has it is Zulu.
Curtis spoke there with such disdain and irritation of, what do you even ask? It's been bonded already. They have the money. They have the money.
He is not a fan.
And Pete's like, what? Hey, wait, so an emergency fund, they've secured funding through a bond? Wait,
yeah,
doesn't make sense.
Ahead of the emergency?
Like, if it's the pump stations, is it? No. Wait, hold on. Tone it down a little. Take the disdain out just a little.
Yeah. Imagine borrowing for something before it actually breaks,
right?
And you had no idea it was going to break. It's
That's
weird.
not considered an emergency.
The smart thing to do in that situation would probably be to have a surplus.
Oh yeah, well,
then you wouldn't have.
We'll get to that one,
but that's coming up too.
Yeah,
and then.
Well, we could. No, let's just keep going in order.
Let's go into the letter again.
Oh God, there's going to be so much topic of this.
The letter was October 2022. We're
is it 22? Yeah,
we're in 23. So the letter. Everybody knows about the letter. If you're not familiar with the letter, there were 2 folks running for school board, and a letter went out to residents from 2 councilwomen saying how bad these 2 people were.
Yeah.
And they had...
Community action was needed.
Community action
They're
needed.
racist. They hate people. And, yeah, it was a
like
whole...
poor people. They're racist. Yeah. All kinds of bad stuff about 2 people. One being you.
One was
the other one being Dina Hendry.
Yeah.
And if a few... Man, it's been a couple months now. Or at least a month and 2 months, maybe. Stubbs. After the letter was written and it was brought to council's attention that, hey, this is pretty terrible for 2 councilwomen to write a letter like this.
Right.
Stubbs never came back. So we hadn't
and then
seen
resigned
her.
And said, I had nothing to do with that. My name might have been on it, but I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, she stopped coming to council meetings in October, And then finally, maybe a month ago.
Yeah, about a month or so, and she just quit.
She quit, wrote a letter, said, I never wrote that letter. So people started saying, well, okay, who did? Who wrote that letter? And the other person on that letter was Carolyn Grace. And
she still shows up to every meeting. When she's questioned, she does not answer it, and then she acts as if she did answer it. And so we have a couple different pieces of this here. But anyway, so Denise Coyne, during the eGov section where you're able to submit a letter ahead of time, she has been asking, I forget what the clip exactly says, but let's just play it here. Clip 6 here.
This is from Denise Coyne at 1060 Chews Landing Road, Gloucester Township, New Jersey. In the interest of transparency and accountability, I am reiterating the questions I asked during the May 22nd meeting, which remain unanswered. 1. Do you believe that the letter mailed to residents which contained false information about 2 residents running for school board was simply an exercise of the councilwoman's right to free speech? I'm answering for myself, yes. Considering one councilwoman resigned and claimed she had no involvement in the letter and that her name and likeness were used without her permission, do you find it acceptable for councilwomen to be identified as the authors of such a divisive letter? Those individuals' names were on that letter and they sent out. They're entitled to their free speech. Does the council or administration have any leads on who used the councilwoman's name and likeness without permission in the letter sent to the residents? Council nor the administration has not looked into any leads. And 4, was Councilwoman Grace's name and likeness also used without her consent? Mrs. Grace has answered that question before. It has been stated at previous meetings. Her response.
Okay, so, yeah, she definitely did not answer that question. She has not answered that question multiple times. Gaslighting people by saying she's already done that. It doesn't make it true. It's done.
Yeah. In fact, Grace said it last meeting. She was like, look, Dean and I talked. I think there's a clip from last meeting.
Right. We have a clip from the last meeting to reiterate that his comment there from this meeting about her answering at the prior meeting is false. She definitely did not. And in fact, during that thing, she also admitted that she didn't even come up with a response. She was told how to respond to that. She goes, when I was told how to respond to that, whoops, did that slip out? So, play clip 7 here.
I responded to her. We had a lively conversation. I said I would speak to her outside of council chambers. She accepted my conversation, and we moved on.
You don't think the rest of the residents deserve an explanation?
The reason why there's no more discussion about it is because she has the answers, and if she does not want to share my conversation with you, then
okay. Well, if she asked you and you answered her, can I ask you? Will you answer me?
I do not want to have that conversation inside of council chambers, and I'm done with the conversation.
Done.
I had it with her, and I shared it.
Not responsible.
One councilwoman. One. There's another one sitting right there.
Where that letter came from, I made the comment when it was addressed to me that I had no knowledge where that letter came from. So it's not
your wife.
Your name wasn't on it. Hers was.
The 2 individuals that names were on there could respond if they chose to. That's who you should be talking to.
And 4, was Councilwoman Grace's name and likeness also used without her consent? Mrs. Grace has answered that question.
No, she didn't.
It has been stated at previous meetings. Her response.
There was an event in December. Miss Grace was there.
So now Dina's going up and calling her out.
It was a bonus. I did not know that she was going to be there. I approached Miss Grace. I asked her again, and she did not confirm or deny. All she said was, my name's on there, isn't it? So she never told the public. She never told me the reasoning or why. And that's the reason why there's some people, including myself, want to know, why would council who represent us, all of us, do this to people who want to make a difference in this community?
Yeah. So the beginning of that clip was last council meeting where she said, I talked to Dina. We've got this understanding now.
Yeah.
And then
squared away.
And then Dina left early that meeting.
Right. So she
wasn't there to say, no, he didn't.
Right.
So it was brought up this week. And as you heard, Dina said, she never said it. She never confirmed it or denied it. She said, my name's on there.
Yeah. But not only that. So, Caitlin Garcia, our councilwoman, since she can't remember Dina's name ever, so Dina kind of went off on her because she like, I don't who's that woman? Like, she's like
she either can't remember her name or she just makes up names for Dina.
So yeah, Dina kind of went off around this not knowing her name. You can literally write a letter saying I'm a bad person, a horrible human being. You can't even remember my name. So I think clip 8 of that.
Hiya, good evening. Dina Hendry, Summerdale.
Good evening.
Want to kindly address this letter. I would love for it to go to bed, per se. It is hard for me to just sit back and just do nothing. I did not warrant, Keith did not warrant a hateful letter spewed with lies and underlining hate to be sent out. I did not warrant the council who represents me and all the other residents of this township who are supposed to be impartial to retaliate when I'm simply asking questions about a conflict of interest or a absentee council person. That did not warrant the retaliation and lies to be sent out about myself and another person. It became a council issue when a letter was sent to the residents of Gloucester Township identifying 2 people as councilwomen and that they needed their action, that the community needed their action against 2 people. I asked point blank, do you know about the letter? Did you write the letter? And just like right now, you all looked at me. Stubbs, Grace, nothing, no accountability whatsoever. I then asked again, nothing. Can't do it during council, fine. There was an event in December. Miss Grace was there, I was there. It was a bonus. I did not know that she was gonna be there. I approached Miss Grace. I asked her again.
No, it goes on.
And she did not confirm or deny. All she said was, my name's on there, isn't it? So she never told the public. She never told me the reasoning or why. And that's the reason why there's some people, including myself, want to know, why would council who represent us, all of us, do this to people who want to make a difference in this community? Not once did myself or Keith come up here and abuse or say lies. We just question. We have questions. That is our right. You are our elected officials. You are elected to represent us, to be impartial, not to send a letter with a political committee that has underlining tones of hate and racism. As a female, a Hispanic female, granted, it doesn't look that way, but I am. I find it disgusting that a woman and 2 minorities would go against another minority trying to make a difference, would go against a single dad wanting to make a difference. Just like all of you here, you want to make a difference, but yet you say it's political. It's not political. What happened to myself and Keith was disgusting, and the residents deserve to know why. If not, take accountability as opposed to just looking down and not looking at me. You say you don't know my name, but month after month, I come here, I say my name. It's Dina Hendry. You had the opportunity to write a letter about me, then know who I am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else?
Yeah, so it was a long clip, but it was worth listening to. I mean, she goes up there with a heartfelt, speech every time. And I love that this is not going away. Like,
Yeah.
How many times are these like things put out about like whoever's running for something? But what the hell does a councilwoman have to say about a school board thing and sign it as a council person to show that? I mean, there's got to be something with losing their qualified immunity too. That like I should be able to go sue them personally for that. If you know, or Dina, I'm sure there's something to do with that. Not that we're going that route, but I'm just saying somebody needs to put somebody in line here. And I love that she just doesn't give up on it and just keeps bringing it up because it just keeps digging. Like, why are you doing this?
Some opposing pack should give this a try.
Yeah.
The next time somebody is running for school board, somebody new, a letter from Mercado and Hutchinson to come out and say, this is the greatest opportunity we've had in a long time for somebody great to be on the school board.
Oh, you can just use their names.
Yeah,
we're not going to investigate it. They didn't investigate it. They have no idea what it is. Some pack did it.
I guarantee you they will investigate.
Oh, they'll get to the bottom of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they will definitely investigate it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, if there's somebody on school board we don't like, we just write a letter as council saying that we don't like them either. But I guarantee you that would be investigated. And I hate that it comes up all the time. I just, if you're up there, she's got her head down. Look, just own up to it.
Now, wait, just so, the head down part of what you're talking about there. In that speech, would you classify her as like hostile there, or was she just speaking from the heart?
It was very heartfelt.
Right, she wasn't attacking someone. She wasn't in attack mode there. Okay,
no.
So I don't know if we want to skip ahead to another part, but what did I call her? Because her name's not actually her real name. We have to call her different.
Oh, it's that Darla now, right?
Caitlin Darcy. So Caitlin Darcy, here's what she has to say when Dina is not able to respond at the very end. So it's 13.
Did she authorize it? I will share this when I got information to how to respond. I was
information how to respond.
I was at a event and I responded to, I forget her name. She gave the speeches. What's her name?
Dina.
She doesn't remember.
You say you don't know my name, but month after month, I come here, I say my name. It's Dina Hendry. You had the opportunity to write a letter about me, then know who I am. Thank you.
Miss Dina Hendricks, when I look down.
It's Hendry.
Okay.
Please no outbursts from the public,
When I
please.
look down or look to the side, it's not a sign of disrespect. I'm actually actively listening. When someone is speaking in an aggressive manner, that's just how I respond. So I don't want you to think I'm disrespecting you. I'm not looking to you. I'm actually actively listening. Because if I'm staring at you and you're aggressive, I'm going to miss what you're saying. So when I turn and I put my head down is because I'm listening, actively listening. So it's not a sign of disrespect to you.
I don't think that they call that aggressive. I think that's shame is what the word she's looking for.
It's not a sign of disrespect.
Right.
I'm ignoring you.
Yeah.
Actually,
if I'm looking at you, I'm not listening.
I got my phone and I'm emailing the people that actually wrote the letter going, I can't believe you did this to me.
Again, it's been brought up again. But yeah, so she later on is when she actually addressed her. Not at any time that Dina was able to, respond. She had the opportunity to do it while she was standing right there, but instead she waited until Miss Hendricks, was not able to respond on her closing remarks. But
I can't think of a situation where someone is talking about me or scolding me that I don't respond. Like the last time I think that I put my head down and didn't say anything was probably like when my dad was yelling at me as like a kid if I did something stupid,
right.
And he's like, "What are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you?" And I put my head down. Yeah, it was dumb.
Right.
Like, that's the last time. Right now, I'm defending myself.
Yeah.
I either did it, and I don't regret it, or maybe I did it and I do regret it, or I didn't do it and it's time to speak up. But imagine being that afraid.
Right.
To where you just put your head down and you've got nothing. She says, when I was instructed on how to respond.
Right.
Holy crap.
Right. Who instructed you just how to respond?
Who's running the show here? Like
you don't have control of your own thoughts and responses.
People have said before, well, they're puppets. They're puppets.
They are puppets. There's proof right there. Yeah.
They're puppets.
Oh man. So yeah, and we've spent so much time on that topic, but it's been brought up often, and there's no answers. It just continues.
Just an answer makes it go away.
Right. It's all you have to do is answer. It's that simple.
Yes.
She cannot say one way or the other. If she says one way she did it, I guess she feels, I don't know, guilty of doing, because she knows she shouldn't have written. If she says she didn't authorize it, now she's throwing the pack under the bus, and then she'll get her hand slapped or something. I don't know what'll happen, but I don't know. I mean, what is she afraid of being suicided or something? Like, there's no. What are you afraid of? I don't understand.
She's not up for a re-election this year, so she's got enough time that people got short memories here. So
yeah,
she's got enough time. To people may forget it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. It's such a weakness moment. It's just a weak moment there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, back on the topic. We kind of jumped a little bit all over there, but the MUA recently was dissolved, I guess is the word for.
Yeah, there was like an amendment put on there that just was like, by the way, the thing we're doing, it's done.
Right.
Yeah, we're doing it.
So yeah, they had. Well, there was something that they explained with the way that they did it. There was no clarified end date of when the MUA was completed or finished, or whatever the term is, and then when it starts being under the township's rule, or whatever you want to call it. But along with that, we were trying to get the clarification of what actually is this term surplus. When it was the MUA, it was not called a surplus. When we had the public hearing for it, they beat it into us of saying their budget's $6 million. They had a $6 million surplus. Don't you think they're overcharging you? Failing to ever say the amount of time it took to build up a $6 million surplus. They implied almost as if they generate $6 million additional dollars every year and then just waste it. That's not the case. That $6 million was, and we all knew this, was a portion of it was restricted through a bond, whatever, like where they had to owe money, back for a bond. So there was like $3-something million. That was the term they're using, surplus. So the question was asked is, who came up with this surplus? Because it was calling it like a catastrophic savings, fund at some point, in time, when it was back in the MUA. So I think it's clip 9 here.
The MUA is being questioned on the amount of the terminology was used was surplus, $6 million. That sound about right?
Yes.
Okay. Where did the terminology surplus come from?
It's an accounting term that's used
by
the state.
By the state.
Regular accountants or government accountants?
It's either surplus or fund balance.
Okay. And would that also be, like I said, governmental versus an authority? Would that also be the same amount of money that was referred to as renewal and replacement, like an escrow, that the MUA referred to it as? So it's my understanding that the MUA has money in reserve for a catastrophic event, sewage repairs, emergency type repairs. As my understanding is it about that much, $6 million? In and about that. Is that the same that you're referring to as a surplus?
This was cash surplus.
Cash surplus.
Right.
Okay.
Now, some of it was restricted. I believe it was 1.7 million first year.
Yeah, he's not sure. I don't know where that came from. The state uses the term surplus, but Ray's point was it's under a different terminology. It's the same amount of money. It's the same bucket of money.
It's a reserve.
It's a savings account versus that's a surplus. We're just going to take and we're going to balance out the budget this year and not raise taxes.
Yeah, we overcharge people $6 million this year.
We might lower them. I don't know how we're going to do it. But
and the question coming up was the same question that I think a lot of us had. All right, they've got $6 million there. How long did it take for them to get that $6 million? It wasn't this year. It's been over years, and they made it sound, if you go back to the last couple of weeks, they made it sound like you were kind of getting ripped off by the MUA because
that's what
they had all this extra money.
Yeah.
And what in turn, what it was just a responsible way of banking money in case something came up so that you don't have to borrow constantly.
Right. Exactly.
So,
and they love borrowing. We know that.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
they love borrowing.
The one thing that was brought up was that under the MUA, we knew the accounting methods, we'll call it, that they used. They socked a little bit of money away into this reserve account. In Gloucester Township, in the the municipal side of things, on your budget, every other year you really suck as an accountant. So
that comes up. That comes up
10
constantly.
here. Yeah.
In order for me not to think that this was a cash grab by the township, so they accrued a $6 million surplus, let's say, and over what looks like a long period of time, which could be good accounting, because people didn't see their MUA bill go up. You had $40 there about every quarter. It wasn't a bad deal. But they still were able over that period of time to do that. And yet now that same accounting practice that brought that $6 million surplus is going to be handled by you. And if I may, I've said this before, and I mean no offense to Mr. Cardis, but I have commented in the past that Mr. Cardis is a pretty good accountant every other year, and every other year he sucks. And on certain numbered years, we have a zero increase in our taxes, and in others we're about 10%. Now that's happened so many times. I'm only 5'6". I can't reach where you guys have gotten to.
I like the no offense, but you suck at this every other year.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I mean, he wasn't the only one asking about this whole surplus thing. Denise Coyne got up there and was asking as well, and she kind of said that she spoke to MUA employees and they kind of clarified that definitely was like a savings of what we understood of what we were doing, and then Cardis kind of just like, I'd never even heard of a savings account. What do you mean? Like you save money somehow for house?
Yeah. It's funny. I just remember too that a couple of random MUA guys came up to our tent at the at GT.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they just were talking about it, and I don't know, it's like they wanted to tell you that it was bad,
right?
But they were kind of also like,
yeah, I don't know who's bugged the place over here. I don't know what I can say.
It was odd. It was odd talking about it, but a lot of people you can tell they wanted to talk about it. But Denise asked the question, and I think a lot of us were kind of wondering too.
Yeah.
To follow up on the MUA, that's $6.3 million. Do we know what time frame that money was accumulated over?
Mr. Cardis, are you aware of the time frame?
Okay, I'm assuming it was over a long period of time. I also I spoke to people that work at the MUA. I think it was last weekend, and they also were talking about the renewal and replacement account that this money was in. Supposedly, the $6.3 million was in a renewal and replacement account that was set aside for catastrophic emergencies. So it wasn't a technical surplus that we were told that it was. Is that true or untrue?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kristen, but I believe that once it becomes a utility, there were some funds that were restricted. I believe it was in the neighborhood of $2 million of the $6.3 million. Once it becomes a utility, it's no longer restricted. So,
okay, but my question is, under the MUA, that $6.3 million was in a renewal and replacement account, correct?
No, it was fund balance. It was in their surplus account.
So it wasn't in an account set aside.
I don't know what this renewal and account. I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
So you never saw that account? Like,
confirm with the auditors that there was a balance of surplus or fund balance, whatever term you want to use, of approximately $6.3 million.
Okay. All right. So, but that was accumulated over a long period of time. It wasn't accumulated over a 1 year period like it was made out to believe at the last meeting.
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed. I'm getting word salad here, and I don't even have dressing.
He really didn't want to say the words, did he?
No, and it's funny. He actually, I believe, stated part of the word salad that he was using, and it's like when it changes from being an authority to a municipal, something or other, that's called this. So you're like, okay, so it was actually called what we're saying was a savings account.
Yes.
Now that it's not, the way that you're answering is if it is now, not what the question is when we're answering back when it was a savings account. I never heard of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what those things
It's just, oh my God, it drives me insane the way that they play games with the answers. Like, that's talent. You know what I mean? Like, that's talent to be able to lie by telling the truth incorrectly, like intentionally.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I can't even express what it is I'm trying to explain, let alone do what he does with words.
Because he's not lying. Because once when
you answer a different question and not lie.
that's it is. He's answering a different question, and that's therefore he's not lying. So, but he's amazing at that.
When you get to that level of like talent, it's time to retire. Like you got to go. Like
you get to that level of talent, and you're like, you know what?
Oh, now you have 3 different.
I'm gonna go do Pine Hill stuff now too.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna pile on more of my pension. I'm gonna wipe out all the taxpayers. But yeah, so that was interesting. Yeah, we don't have really too much more here. We did have
Orlando
two mockings. There was it was. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, Miss Smithman doesn't have internet, but
she claims she says this all the time, and someone mocks her and say, "Oh yeah, that's right. You don't have it.
You don't have it, but you pay for it." I didn't.
Okay, because you don't have access to the internet, but you pay for it.
Yeah.
Miss Danny, thank you very much.
You got it. I got more next time I come.
Miss Danny, you're very interesting. I like to spend some time with you. You got I
got 50 years of
a lot of background
information. You're right.
Yeah, he had another. I couldn't find it, and I didn't feel like wasting the time looking for it. But he had another comment to her. I forget what it was. It was something along the lines of, "I don't believe what you tell me when you come up. When you come up here, I have to like look into it or something along those lines." I forget where it was or what she was talking about. Something with maybe the Gems landfill or something. But his comment, I was like, "Oh man," they were just notable comments, somewhat mocking the people that are coming up there.
He was a little nicer. I thought that after the last meeting he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And Mignon ran that meeting, and I thought that he was gonna come back full of fire, but
roll with an iron fist again.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Daddy's back.
Yeah.
All right, kids.
Captain Backhand.
Yeah, Captain Backhand. Oh God.
Well, that's it. Thanks for checking us out. If you haven't subscribed, we mentioned it before. Subscribe, please.
Yep.
Hit the notification bell because we go on at random times.
Yeah, we try and be consistent, but not always able to be. This is like a full-time job, this thing, and we also have full-time jobs.
Many full-time jobs,
right?
Each.
So just put the notifications on. It'll let you know.
Notification bell. Go to restoregT.com. Check out the rest of the content there. Share it out too. As we mentioned in the contest, we just need people to share it. That's it.
Stay classy, Gloucester Township.
Yeah. We'll talk to you folks soon.
See ya.
See ya.
Stay